Gonna make a big noise. Gonna climb so high and I'll be rising up. Are you ready now? Turn it up. Hey, are you ready for this?
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I am Christopher DJ Venom Turner, aka the King of Bling, here with all things paparazzi here in our leadership lounge, KoB, Kingdom of Blingdom, and Elite Blingers, my upline, Marissa Clark. We are here to give you all of these amazing tidbits. But today, we have the amazing Liz Castro, another elite leader that is going to come speak to you on this business and the opportunities that you may or may not be missing, or that things that you may or may not be knowing. So I ask you to grab your pen and paper. I ask you to open up your eardrums and listen to the amazing things that she's about to give us. But first, we're going to go ahead and get into a prayer. So, dear Lord, I thank you so much for all of the blessings that you give us, Lord. I thank you for giving me that drive and that motivation, Lord, in this platform to be able to speak to other people in a way that allow us to make changes, to make hope, and to give futures to people that right now may have given up, Lord. And I thank you for allowing us to come in here and speak of these things that will help us get to those favors that you've offered us here in faith, Lord. We appreciate all you do for us. Continue to give us health, wealth, and all in things in between. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. All right. So, Miss Liz, how are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I am great, and I'm so blessed to have you here. You know, me and you we've built kind of a relationship here, and we aren't even within the same lines, right? So it just goes to show that in this business, we are about each other and bringing each other up. So why don't you go ahead and address the group here, even though many of them know who you are because we follow you. Some of them are new, and some of them may not be able to have the time to get in there and follow all the time. So introduce yourself.
Hello, you guys. My name is Liz Castro, and I've been with paparazzi for 3 years. I am a fashionista, elite leader. My fabulous team is called the Glowing Radiance Team. I am originally from California, Southern California, but I now reside in Arizona. I am a mom to 3 crazy boys, 2 crazy dogs, and a wife to an amazing husband. What else can I tell you? I love music. I never thought that honestly, I was just looking back at like our beginnings, and I was actually in a clubhouse last night with some really fabulous people. And I happened to mention that when I started my business in the restroom. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I started my lives in the bathroom because it was the only room big enough that like I had the space to set a little like space up to do my lives. And they're like, how come you didn't like do a space? And I'm going to be honest, like, I didn't think that everything that I'd ever started, I kind of fell out of, or it didn't last. So I almost like didn't give this the credit either. So I thought, you know, I'm not going to make a space for something and what if it doesn't work out type of thing. So when I hit that join button, I never thought that I would be here today. So I quickly fell in love with the business and then started taking up more and more and more space in my house, as is common, and you know it, with this paparazzi business. So now there is a designated spot that has become my spot, which is the former living room. We still kind of use it for a living room space, but paparazzi quickly won my heart over, and the business and the ability to touch lives, change lives, have a purpose, be more than just selling jewelry, but be a constant for my customers, give them that consistency that so many people crave, right? That place where they can just come and vent and have fun and forget about everything that's going on and buy a little bling. We call it bling therapy at Liz's Gorgeous Bling. We say it's cheaper than therapy, and then you get to a little package at the end of the week, so you can't beat it. So
Yes.
it's just really become so much more than I ever imagined. And we are finally able to pay our bills, which was not possible before I started this business. So that's a little bit about me.
Isn't that funny how it goes from like cutoff notices to like all the blessings that come with it. And you were talking about how like it's filled your house eventually, right? You like at first you may not have had any space, but you know, the good thing is the more you sell, the more you're able to buy more space. So it's like it's a wash. It comes back in blessings.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we've talked so many times that, you know, and I follow you, I come onto your lives and, you know, I see you. And so I feel like I know you already, right? But they don't. So I want to kind of go from the beginning here and just kind of go back and ask you, what did you do before paparazzi?
So before paparazzi, I was in the orthodontic field for 17 years, actually. So I worked in ortho. I actually wanted to be an orthodontist. So I worked in the ortho field, which is braces, since I was 18 years old. So don't do the math. So I was actually a receptionist to start. I was a receptionist when I started, and then quickly started learning more and more and more. And then I became a treatment coordinator, who is the person that you go to that presents, you know, the case to you and gets you to sign the contract to, you know, pay for braces. So, and then I moved out to Arizona for a management position. So I was managing 2 orthodontic offices in the Phoenix area when I joined paparazzi.
Ah, okay. And so you weren't really brought into social media or social sales, right? That's a new skill and a new endeavor that you've never been involved in.
Exactly. I had never heard the word algorithm before. So I'd never sold anything online. I mean, I used to sell, you know, $5,000 to $7,000 braces. So I thought, man, if I could sell, you know, $5,000 to $7,000 braces, I should be able to sell $5 jewelry, you know. But I did not come. It's a little bit different. It's a medical thing, you know, and a lot of kids need braces. So it was a little bit of a different approach to sales. But I had never done any sort of, I'd never even gone live before. Like I'd never hit the live button for anything before. I'd see people go live, but I was not social media savvy. I am not super tech savvy. So it was all a new world to me.
But now you've evolved and you've been able to find out how much of a tool that is, right?
Absolutely.
And so there's a lot of people in here right now that don't have those skills, right? And they're learning those skills and they're learning that algorithm and things of that nature. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there, that this isn't new for it's not just new for them. It's something that we all go through, that we all mature through. And as long as you're plugged into the training and you're doing what we learn and we preach, then it'll save them a lot of time, right?
Absolutely.
So with your business right now and Facebook, I know that there's a lot of changes going on, and some people start on a VIP group, some people start on a wall, some people start in their business. Well, in the experiences that you have and where you're at right now, if you were a brand new consultant, where would you recommend somebody on your team to start? Would they start on their wall? Do you think they should start a business page? Do you think they should start in a VIP? And what do you utilize?
So I've recently changed February, I want to say, towards the beginning of the year, I switched to a business page. I did that because, you know, everybody always was saying how much better it is to have a business page, and there's so many tools that the business page gives you, and it tracks, you know, which posts are doing better than others. And there's a lot of tools on the business page. I did start to see changes in my on my profile. A lot of my comments were getting kind of filtered and things like that. So I made the decision to go to a business page recently. Prior to this year, I had been on my profile, and then I would share into my VIP group. And my business page, I started when I started the business, but literally it was like a dud. Like there was nothing over there at all. Like I would never post to it. It just kind of sat there. So it's been really difficult to grow that business page and to get it to where I was on my profile. It just has been. I reached a point where I had, you know, 80 viewers at one point, and that's not where we're at on the business page. But I feel like we get stuck on that. We get stuck on like, oh my gosh, I had so many viewers, but I don't care how many viewers I have if people are buying stuff. Like there could be 10 people watching me and all of them are buying, and I'm happier than if I have 80 people watching and only 5 baskets full. You know what I mean? Like, so I
Yes.
feel like we get so stuck on that number. If I felt
Agreed.
like that switch would have been like, you know, I did take a small hit initially, but I've gotten 30 to 40 people that go to my page. If I was to do it all over again, I would start with a business page 100%. Like we have changed all of our trainings on my team to definitely start with a business page and share that video to your profile. Because I think that there is a lot of important, you know, viewership on your profile if you started with a profile when you started your business, or if you started from a personal profile. So I think that there is a lot of, you know, people that you want to grab and get over there. One of the things that I did that I actually was a suggestion from Kelly Logan Durbin, and I like to give credit where credit is due.
Right.
She goes live from 2 devices every now and then. So what I did do was I would set my iPad, which is what I'm live with now, and then I would go live from my iPhone, right? So I'd go live from my iPhone because that's what I like. That's the camera I like to do my lives, and I'd have it in front of me and in my business page. So that's where I'm showing the jewelry. But then I would set my iPad like to the side, you know, and I would go live from the profile from the iPad. And so then anybody that would sign on my profile, I would say, hey, you need to get over to the business page. While I was live, I wasn't showing the jewelry to this camera. I was showing the jewelry to that camera. And then if you want to come see what I'm showing and call what I'm showing, or I'd give like a little sneak, like, oh my gosh, look at, I got oil spill. If you want it, you got to come over here to claim it. So then I got everybody from the profile to slowly maneuver over to the business page. Okay. So that worked really great. Then I started to see like more of my normal viewership.
So you wouldn't accept claims then from your profile. They would have to go to claim on the business page. That's brilliant.
Exactly.
I like that. And that's actually probably really good for like me and my wife, because she's the one that does all of the sales. She's in here, Sarah Marquez. I think you guys have talked.
Yes.
So
yeah, that worked really well. So that has every now and then, the first 10 or 15 minutes, like you're on the profile, and then you're like, all right, we're gonna do everything over here. And then every once a month or something, you can go live from the profile just to grab those stragglers or those new friends that you've made that maybe you're not showing up on their algorithm and they don't like your business page yet. So every now and then it's a good idea to go on both for a few for a few minutes prior to, but definitely the business page does have a lot more of tools. Those things that tools that really tell you what's doing well.
Not only that, but then you have apps too that will help you even more, like the Business Suite and the Creator Studio. But we're not here to talk about all that right now. What I do want to do though is I want to welcome Kimberly Howard, who is an elite leader as well, and an amazing coach and just an awesome bling slinger. And you also have elite leader Marissa Clark in here. So right now we're being infested by the elites, guys. So the forces of knowledge and brilliance is strong right now. So make sure you're here. Kimberly and Marissa, would you like to say anything at all before we get too far in here?
Thanks for coming back, Liz. You're so awesome. We appreciate you, and you are always impactful to this team and anybody who sits and listens to you. So if you guys miss any of it, there will be a replay available. Remember that she doesn't have to do this, okay? So we're going to value her time. We're going to give her the most respect and bring questions that are going to build your business, and anything that she says you're going to implement, right? We're not just going to talk about it and ask about it. We are actually going to give Miss Liz the respect and implement the things that she talks to us about. So thank you for being here, Liz.
Of course, it's always a pleasure, Marissa. I adore you. And you don't have to love it, and it doesn't have to work for you, but you have to at least try some of the things or all of the things so that you can determine whether it works or not, right? Because saying like, I'm not going to, that's just something I won't do. Like that's where you won't grow either,
Amen. Kimberly, did you want to say anything before I know you're busy too.
Yes, I want to hop on and just say how amazing you guys are. And I love this. I think it's so amazing to see you guys step up to the plate. I think it's amazing that you're here and I love it. So I wanted to say hi before I go work now and sell some jewelry, but it's amazing. You guys are so wonderful. And thank you for all that you do. It's amazing. And you guys have always had such a special place in my heart, and you still do. So thank you guys so much. I love that you're willing to learn and engage, and much respect. So, and Christopher, this is awesome. So thank you for doing this and helping everyone connect and learn and grow. It is seen, I see it, and it's about dang time I'm on here, right? So you guys are awesome.
And no worries, we understand how busy you are. So we're just glad that when you can drop those extra couple of minutes in here with us, just to drop that knowledge. So we thank you for all the little bits we can get, no matter how little or frequent, how often they are. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you. And just something that I've learned, I'm kind of sharing even on the team page, is just have fun. I've been so stressed. I'm not going to lie, you guys. So my little note for tonight, and then Liz, you kill it, I know you will, is just have fun and talk to your customers. What a difference. It's hard when you get in your head and you look at those numbers and the sales aren't where you want to be. But I've learned you got to have that joy, and it's shown. You can't mask it when you're live. You can try, and some are better than others, but you may be able to hide a little bit of that. But in your connection and involving with customers and the fun is everything. So never, ever, ever, ever stop having fun, you guys. So
amen to that. And I tell you what, if you're afraid to push that live button, then you're missing out on that joy.
Oh my gosh, yes, because it's been therapeutic and an outlet for me almost 5 years now. So absolutely.
All right. Thank you,
Okay.
Kimberly.
Have a good night. Bye.
So Liz, we just talked about how there's 3 elite leaders in here right now, and that's a golden opportunity for any team that's coming up, right? So I know that I talk a lot about what elite is, but you also know that when, the teacher's in front of the class, not everybody's listening until the principal walks in. You know what I'm saying? So why don't you tell them what elite means to you and what it represents and why they should want that?
Elite, a lot of people think that elite is the top 1% of the company, but it's actually the top 0.1% of the company, right? So that's even smaller than 1%. So what that means is that there is a very small percentage of people that are at the elite level. And it's not because there's only room for a certain amount of us. It's because it's a lot of work. Okay. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that hitting elite was easy. It isn't. It's not something that is easy. But to me, elite means that I have done a really good job at helping other people be successful. And that title, to me, that's what it means, that I not only took this business, ran with it, and I wasn't just successful on my own, but I helped others to also be successful. Because there's no way to get up there just, doing it on your own. There just isn't. I cannot contribute to the team numbers. So the biggest thing and my biggest pride about being an elite leader, and Marissa can probably attest to this too, is the fact that we have helped a lot of people succeed in their business. Everybody thinks that the elites get special treatment. And we do. We get to go to the Dominican Republic and things like that. There's a lot of things that you do earn by being an elite, but I fight for oil spill just like you guys do. We still have access to the same things on the website, depending on where you sell as far as LOP. That has nothing to do with elite. You could be a diamond seller and never, ever be an elite leader, right? So the fact that I get,
or vice versa.
Yeah. The fact that I get sent life of the party pieces, has nothing to do with the fact that I'm elite, right? So that's just my life of the party goal, right? So there's a lot of responsibility that comes with being an elite, though, because you get there because you have a team under you. And, you know, there are pressures for being at that level, because you don't want to, you know, you have people depending on you. And when you hit elite, there's, you know, there's standards that you have to have, because now you have a team. But it is the most amazing blessing. You know, the commission that you receive for helping people succeed is like the cherry on top. And I'm not sure how Marissa feels about this, but at the end of the day, like, I never want to be a leader that just depends on that check. Like, I want my team to look at me and say, like, our leader sells her jewelry, because at the end of the day, that is what I'm here to help my people do. I want you to buy and sell your jewelry. And so for that reason, like, I'm always going to be live. Like, you're never going to see, I might, like, you know, things happen, life happens. There might be times where I have to take a break or whatnot, but selling my jewelry is super important, because it's the thing that helped me get to elite. And I'll never forget that, because that's where it started. That's where my recruiting started. That's where everything started. And that's where it's always going to be. So.
Right.
Look how
And
pretty you look. Oh my gosh. I feel like I didn't dress up for the occasion, Marissa.
Girl, it's only because I'm going live to sell the jewelry after this Zoom. Okay? We sell the jewelry first.
But boy, you put that flat comb to work. Look at that hair, girl. So Liz, in this business, in this industry, there's been a lot of changes from the time you started to the time it is now. But, you know, I know you have your things that people say, hey, Liz, will you come talk to my team about this? Hey, Liz, will you come talk to my team about that? What is your favorite thing in this business to talk about?
I'm a motivational, like, leader. Like, I love the motivation portion of it. That's my favorite. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I've been approached to talk to the teams, to people's teams about just about everything. And I always end with motivation, no matter what I train on, right? Like, I had somebody ask me to train on recruiting, and I'm like, sure, right? And I'm like, maybe I could convince her, like, at some point to, like, you know, do something else, because I for a long time felt that recruiting wasn't my strong point. Well, she went ahead and announced that I was going to be doing a chat on recruiting, and there was no backing up. So
oh no,
that was one of my favorite trainings I've ever done for another team, because I was so scared to do it, and I had so many doubts. And so the way that I trained on that was, I didn't tell them that it was my first time training on recruiting, because I ended with the fact that you need to do things scared, right? So I did this whole thing. I did this whole spiel. I talked about how to get them to even ask about the opportunity through attraction marketing. Like, I went through all the steps of effective recruiting. And then at the very end, I told them, like, well, what'd you do if I told you that this is the first time I ever talked about, like, I ever did a recruiting training? And they were like, what? And I was like, this is the first time I've ever done a training on recruiting, and I was scared to do it, but there was no backing out. So there is the sauce, is you need to do things scared. Like, when there's an opportunity to do something that scares you, you need to do it. That's where the success lies.
The
Because if it
success
was
lies
easy,
in the places that you're not comfortable.
otherwise, like, people that don't succeed and complain about not succeeding, it's because they're not willing to do things outside of their comfort zones. So that was like I always bring it back to that motivation at the end. So that motivation and mindset is my favorite thing to train on.
And, you know, and that's what I talk to a lot of the consultants here, and a lot of the potentials, and a lot of my followers, or anybody that will listen to me, is that my purpose in this is like motivation. You know, it's to lift people up. It's to change their habits. It's to give them those freedoms that we're all offered, but sometimes we're afraid to seek, right? And it's not always about the money. This doesn't always have to do with money. You know, of course, that's the ultimate goal, right? I mean, we are in a business, and business
Right.
is about money. This isn't a social drive. This isn't a charity drive. But at the same time, the paparazzi possibility, you know, the paparazzi purpose, it's there. And motivation and drive are huge in that. And you've always been that to me. So thank you. So in that time, you know, when you first started to now, if you could go back knowing what you know now, what would you have done different? This is my favorite question I got to ask everybody.
I would have started recruiting from day one.
Right?
Because I was like, I can't recruit anyone because I still haven't figured it all out. And how can I train somebody if I haven't figured it out? And we get stuck at think that, like, how many of us think that, like, you have to figure it all out before you could even add somebody to your team? Well, you're never going to figure it all out. That's the first thing. Never.
Yeah,
like, if I
thought.
would have, like, if I would have just started talking about the opportunity. Now, when somebody joins my team and they talk about the opportunity from the first live, like, it makes me so excited because I was so scared. I was like, I'll sell the jewelry, but I don't want a team. I don't have time for it. Like, and I had no idea what this opportunity was going to be. Like, I just wanted to make an extra $200 for Christmas. Like, so I wish I would have embraced what this business really is sooner. I wish I would have, if I could go back and do it again, I would have started recruiting from the get-go, because there is something so amazing and so beautiful about recruiting someone and you guys taking that journey together, you guys learning the things together, you guys looking at each other and saying, have you seen that, like, life of the party thing? Like, what does that mean? Let's figure it out. Let's do the research.
And a lot of them may not have ever felt that yet because they don't have a teammate, but it's almost like birth, you know, like it's literally when you've invested the time to build that relationship, it's like the cycle of, you know, pregnancy. And then all of a sudden, boom, hey, look, I'm a dad or I'm a mom, you know, and that joy and that pride and that sense of, like, accomplishment, you know, is not only high in you and your energy level, but also in that new consultant. They're feeling like the proud parent, right? Like, oh my gosh, I have a new baby now, you know? And it's that energy. And all of you can probably remember that day that you signed up, that day that you hit that link, and that day that you got that first email that said, here is your login. That moment, that excitement, that energy probably drove you until you got the kit, right? And then it's up to you what you did with it at that point, whether or not you were able to keep that energy. And it's all about that movement, that positivity. Liz, like, you're just so great when you talk. I love it. We're so blessed to have you here. Like, you know, my wife,
so blessed to be here.
I follow all you guys, and she's like, oh my gosh, look, you're in there with your buddy, you're in there with it. But yeah, you know, we built these friendships, we built these relationships, and if you're not doing that, that's probably why you're struggling.
And I just have to say, I do a lot with a lot of teams. I am in a lot of groups because I've done a lot of team chats, and Chris and Sarah are somebody that are so consistent and do so much for this team and show up for you guys regularly. And you don't just get that anywhere. And I just have to say that, like, I'm part of a lot of teams, and like, you run your ship as if it was already an elite team. And that is something that Marissa can agree. Like, we tell people, you want to be elite, you got to think like an elite. You got to start doing things like an elite. And I can honestly say that Kingdom of Bling is run as if it was an elite team already. And that's why I know you guys are going to get there. This will be an elite team, because the time that you guys put into your team, the amount of trainings, the work that you do on the back end to try to get people to come in and motivate your team, like your consistency with your Zooms, your chats, all of the stuff that you guys do for this team. You don't get this everywhere, you guys. Like, I hope you understand and you guys see what a special team you guys have and how much you are loved by your uplines, because it really is something that I do not see everywhere. So you guys are very, very blessed to have the leadership that you do.
Well, and thank you so much, Liz. I think Sarah would agree with you. I think Marissa agrees with you too, that this is a phenomenal team, and that, you know, it does take leadership. It does take, you know, being plugged in. It does take those training tools. But like you had said, you know, as much as I try to do this with my team, I also, like you, am out there spreading word with other teams. And that's why me and you built a better relationship than just me following you and you just coming in here and speaking, because we often bump elbows when we're in these training groups with other people, helping spread the word and helping to motivate and lift others. we've seen each other in Clubhouse. We've seen each other in other elite leaders groups. We've, seen each other in lives. And it's because we are in it. We're focused and we're driven and we're putting in that extra time for not only our own purposes, but also to lift the others, right? Like you're here right now and there's nowhere, anywhere in this that you and I are on the same commission chart. So you're not getting any money at all for doing this. And I'm not, getting any money for you doing this. This is something that we do because we're not selfish, because we're not greedy, because we're with a company that doesn't make us compete with one another, because we're blessed by such wonderful founders that gave us such an amazing product line and structure to follow.
Absolutely. And there's and the thing is, don't forget, there is plenty of room at the top. It's not one of those things where, they already made it, so I can't make it. It's not like that at all. Like we can all go up there together, and the more the merrier. Like the way to, like, I want all of you guys up there. Like why I want everybody to succeed in this. Like if everybody is succeeding, this company is stronger. There's no reason why I would want you to fail in your business, because you failing doesn't make me better. It doesn't. Like all of us succeeding makes this company stronger. It makes it so that we become the household name that they always have dreamed of being, right? So
Yes.
there is something so beautiful about all of us succeeding together without the competition. And we all have different jewelry, and I'm a big believer that we can share customers and still be successful. So I'm not gonna jump on your live and say like, hey, I sell jewelry too. Of course not. I'm not gonna do that, because I respect your business. But when it comes to becoming an elite and ranking and stuff, like your success, all of your success makes me happy. It fills my heart.
Well, and I have jumped into your lives and literally like, hey Liz, you're such a superstar, rock star. I'm so glad to see you. Like if you guys aren't following her, make sure that you are. Like, why haven't you joined her team, right? Like I try to motivate them to get involved too. And I'm not in there saying, hey, you know what, Liz is right, come talk to me about this. If this is no, I'm telling them to go to you. I'm telling them, hey, sign up with you. And I'm just trying to ensure that commitment that, hey, you know what she's telling you has been true, guys. Like, listen up. And so that's what we do for each other, right? Because we're not competition. Now, I don't think that if I was another direct salesperson, that I would probably promote this business the way I do to anybody and everybody, the way that I do to anyone and everyone. But also when I say that, I also know that you won't leave that person hanging, right? Like I know that you're a leader, that if that person signed up underneath you, that you're going to give them what they need to be able to succeed. If I wouldn't necessarily do that with somebody that I'm unsure about. Right. I wouldn't say, hey, you guys should join that person's team, because I don't know if that person's going to plug them into the training. I don't know if that person's going to accept that person joined and then never contact them again. I don't know that, but I know that with you. I know that with other leaders. And so, it's about the way you carry yourself and the way you're promoting your product too. Like you said from the beginning, that as much as this is so many different things, our job here, our business here is to sell and buy jewelry and be able to sell and buy more and more and more and more and keep that cycle going, right? So if you're just sitting there with the box underneath your chair and you're not trying to sell it, then you're not getting the benefit of this business. Sorry, sometimes I just go on a tangent, and that was my tangent, guys. Sometimes I'm passionate about this, and sometimes the things that I see others do, it just balls up inside, and sometimes you just got to release. So
Vince, and let it go. We love them, Chris.
Yes.
Oh boy. So Liz, I'm curious, do you have any questions for us? Is there anything that you would like to know about any of us in this team, or do you feel like you're pretty solid with what you know already?
I'm always willing to learn more about you guys, because I just think that you guys are phenomenal. So I'm going to ask you what you would go back and change, Chris.
Oh, darn you. Oh Backfire. Okay. All right. I'm hoping you didn't pull the pin when you threw that grenade. But okay, so if I had to do it all over again, the very first thing I would have done is learned the ranks and commissions. I would have learned the math. I would have learned how, by helping others, it would benefit them as well as myself in a union, rather than when I first started thinking, okay, well, I got to get that $2.25. I got to get that $2.25. No, I'm not worried about you joining my team right now. I got to get that $2.25. I think I would have started differently by promoting my business a little bit more, because I knew what those $2.25 meant when you're adding the dime from another person that has also purchased for $2.25. I think that would be my biggest change. Babe, what about you? Since you're in here too, what would you have done differently than when you first started?
Sorry, I almost fell off my chair just now. I I was rolling on my office chair and didn't roll with me.
You're trying to catch that grenade that he just threw at you, huh?
Right. I'm like, "Whoa," I was too far away from the phone.
You've all played hot potato. It's hot grenade.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Oh, I was not prepared. Probably just, I mean, it's something that had to go gradually, so I don't think I could have really done it sooner, but just gaining the confidence in myself to promote the business and to put it out there. I was extremely camera shy in the beginning, wouldn't go on camera without Chris. So I think, but that just kind of had to happen naturally, I think. So I don't know, but I think I would have just, had that in the beginning if I'd known, what I'm capable of.
I think, honestly, I bet you, babe, you would have went live more.
Yeah, probably understood the value of the consistency. Because we've always been pretty consistent, but I don't think I put much value in it. I was just like, oh, we do our nights and that's it, like the minimum. And I wasn't looking to do any more than the minimum. We just did our certain nights and that was it. And I didn't really push myself.
Right. And I think that a lot of times too, like back then when we were in that, like I said, we were in a need, so we were in a need for every customer. We were in a need for every sale. And so it made it real easy for us to focus on that number up in the top corner, right? And focus on that person that claimed, and focusing on too much of those things rather than seeing the big picture, that the $2.25 doesn't seem like much, but when you stack it up to 100 stacks of $2.25, that's where the pay comes in, and I think we focus too much on the $2.25.
Right. Oh, well, that did make me think of something else though. Is I also would have stood up for myself more. In the beginning, I let too many people kind of walk all over me, and it, they say you teach people how to treat you, and I really did. I taught people that they could get away with things and that they could just kind of pay when they wanted, claim what they wanted, and I just keep giving them chances, and I taught people that, and now I'm kind of having to unteach that, and it's a whole lot easier, I think, if I had started out in the very beginning, taking my business more seriously, taking myself more seriously, and knowing that what I was doing had value and I deserved to be respected. I just kind of didn't think I deserved it, and I felt that I just deserved whatever people did give me, and I would just take it because I was like, well, I gotta just have the business, and so I just gotta suck it up, and however they decide they want to do it, I just had to take it.
I love that, Sarah. I still struggle with that. I'm a yes man. It's very hard for me to say no. It's very hard for me to put my foot down, and I still struggle with that. So like you said, like, and when you teach those habits to people, and then now if you try to put your foot down, it's, oh, well, they now that they sell a ton of jewelry, they've changed or whatever, like you get that that conception of like,
yep.
like, oh,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you guys are selling all this jewelry and now like I can't pay a day late, like, whereas if you had just been that way from the get-go, you wouldn't get that. But like you said, it's also a learning process, like, moving forward, that's how it's going to be. I struggle with that too.
Season of maturity. Yeah,
Yeah.
season of maturity and responsibility in your business, that you can't do it without the practice.
And we felt that, like, I think that, like, we needed the sales so badly that we just had to kind of put up with whatever, and yeah, we might have lost a few sales if we kind of put our foot down a little bit more, but I think in the end it would have helped because it would have made us more professional. We would have been more organized with things instead of like, when are we supposed to invoice this person? How long am I supposed to wait to send them this invoice? Like, I think it would have just been a whole lot easier all the way around. Yeah, like I said, we would have lost a few sales, but I think in the end it would have only helped us.
Yeah, and those are all the stresses that you take with you at the end of the night when you can't sleep and your mind's crossing because you're waiting on that invoice to get paid because you want to be able to make sure that you can go get that new. We understand the struggles, guys. Don't think that we know or think that this is easy and that this is something that you shouldn't do. It does take that hard work, that dedication, and that commitment. That's for sure. I want to open it up to questions though while we're continuing this chat. If you do have questions, you guys know, raise your hand. I would love to give Liz an opportunity to answer some of your questions and continue on there. But now, with that being said, and you coming in here now, we can just kind of relax a little bit. The interview portion of it is pretty much complete. I still have like 1,000,001 questions that I'm sure I can ask you, because number one that I think a lot of people struggle with too in the season of maturing and growing and learning your business is inventory and control of organization and scheduling and all of those kind of things, right? And that's not teachable because, again, that's something that is going to be, specific to you and how you run your business and how you run your day. And, it's another one of those things of growth. But have you come across any sweet spots that would help in those areas?
Man, it's ever changing is all I can tell you. Like, just when you think you figured it out, like you get a curveball, right? Like, it's one of those things where you're never going to know exactly what to purchase to have a sellout night, like you may never have, I've never had a sellout night. Like, like it's one of those things where, you like, how many times have you guys like shown something and you're like, oh my gosh, you guys are going to go nuts over this piece because all the other consultants hyped it up so much. So like now you're hyped about this piece, you show it and there's crickets, like not one single comment. Right. Like, right. And I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, this is a hot piece. And so then it'll right. And it just blows your mind because you're like, you guys don't understand. But like, it really is a different world in the paparazzi world than it is like, your viewers, everybody's viewership can be so different, So yep. Like I've learned the very hard way that my people don't like gray. Okay. I don't care if it's gray macrame or a gray bracelet. Like I love gray. Like this hat is gray. Like I love gray. My people do not. Like every time I show a gray feather, a gray macrame and hype it all up, they don't buy it because they just don't like gray. I hope one day a customer will come along that absolutely loves gray and buys it all, right? Because I have loads and loads of gray. But it's one of those things where you're never going to fully figure it out. You're never going to have like inventory to a T. Like even the most organized person like that keeps spreadsheets of how many bracelets they sell every week or whatever. Like it's ever changing. We are in sales and it's never going to be consistent. So apply your time to things that are making you money, things that are lucrative. The more you go live, the more you're going to sell. That's just the way it is. Like that's one of the things where that's where you should be applying your time, not trying to figure out how many bracelets to buy to, like there's certain things
Yeah.
that are not income producing activities. So,
And it's so funny that you say that because, I'm in Clubhouse too, right? And I hear so many people that are in Clubhouse that are like, oh my gosh, I cannot sell the oil spills. I can't sell the oil spills. And I'm like, you can't? Send them to me. I'll
trade.
take
Yeah. And but that's why this business,
nothing.
business works though. That's the beauty of our business model, is that we all have different customers. So like what sells for you doesn't sell for me, and we get new every single day. Like there is companies, you guys know this, you've heard this a million times, like they put out new products every like twice a year or every season or whatever it is. Like we get new product every single day. You have the ability of going live and selling your product. You don't have to convince somebody to join a monthly membership. They come on, they buy when they want to. I think that's the beauty of this business, is you don't have to convince people to sign up for anything. Your people come, they buy your jewelry. They want to take 2 weeks off because they overdid it this week. Then they come back and they buy more. And they cannot get enough of this stuff.
And the more consistent you are, right? And the more persistent you are in that and being out there all the time, the less and less hard it's going to be to make those sales, because people are going to already be accustomed to knowing what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it, what you have available, and they're just there to buy. They're there for the comfort and the friendship and the rigmarole that goes along with, being able to make that engagement in that relationship, but they're also there knowing that they're probably going to see something that they want.
Absolutely. And so, it's not like I'm so in love with paparazzi. Like you can't go on and sell candles on a live, like, because people can't smell it, right? Like plain and simple. Like you could go live all day long and try to sell candles. Yeah, it's berry vanilla, and you're like trying to wrap your head around what berry vanilla smells like, and then you buy it and it's not anything like you imagined, with paparazzi.
But I guarantee you that eventually we'll have scratch and stiff bones.
Oh yeah, there you go. Until then, sell your jewelry. Like it boggles my mind when people are like, oh, I'm going to try a different business. Like what are you going to possibly sell easier than $5 jewelry? Like really not. What is out there that compares, that you could say, holy cow, I got that parking ticket in the mail and it's $250. What can I do to make the money? I can go live right now for a few days and make that money, no problem. Like I have $5 bills hanging on my racks. Like,
yep. And if I'm worried about inventory and profit and all that, I got a whole bag of Hostess pieces I could sell. Yep. And you brought up a point too. Like we came from a time of struggling with eviction notices and repo orders and credit scores plummeting because you had a vehicle accident, you weren't able to go to work for a period of time, right? That was the struggle that we were in. And I'm just glad to say that when we went to the Jiffy Lube, let's say, we had to get the basic package. When we paid for our cable, we had to get the minimum package. Everything was all set to, cents. You were trying to save every dime you could. And just maybe a year ago, for the first time, our vehicle broke down, where we were out of a vehicle for almost a month. But when the mechanic told me, hey, it's going to cost you $1,000, I got to replace your rear end, I got to do this, I got to do that, I was like, okay, get it done. Let's hurry up. We need our car.
Doesn't that feel beautiful?
It wasn't a matter of then about money. It was a matter of time. So the stresses are always going to be there, but you can use this business to help change what those stresses are. And financial stress is one of the biggest ones. So if you can relieve that.
Absolutely. And I don't know that you guys know my story, but before I started paparazzi, I was literally writing a check for groceries because we didn't get paid for 2 days, and a check ensured that it wouldn't come out of my account for a couple days. So it bought us a couple days time. I was a manager of 2 orthodontic offices, and my husband is a truck driver. It's not like we weren't working. It's not like we were we were both working and not making ends meet. And paparazzi came into our lives. I worked my tail off. I stayed up late. I woke up early. I made it happen. And it really has changed our life. Like, I can go to the grocery store and not think twice about what's in the bank account. And that is such an amazing feeling. Like, I bought the cheapest tires at Walmart before paparazzi. And last year I bought Michelin's for the first time ever. And not because I'm into brands, because I'm not. I would never spend $1,000 on a person. I'm sorry if that's you. I just can't bring myself to do it. Like, I am going to be a dollar store,
I wouldn't either.
Goodwill, Walmart shopper for the rest of my life. I don't care what is in my bank account. I am a frugal person and I don't need brand name stuff. But I say Michelin tires because they are a good brand of tires that I'm not going to have to replace every year, right? Like, I was able to get the good brand that makes me sleep better, knowing that when I drive that car, we're safe, right? Like, those are the things that matter to me. Like, I would rather spend my money on a good pair of tires than buy a Louis Vuitton. Like, that's who I am. Like, so whatever it is that it is for you, whatever, having that security in your bank, like, if you want to spend it on a Louis, that's great. That's cool for you. Like, I'm just the ability to buy my groceries and not have to think twice. Like, you can't beat that. You can't beat that.
It almost makes you emotional when you think about it, And I mean, the only thing that I like to buy that's name brand are my stilettos, because I tell you what, when you go with the generics, you just don't have the support, and I'm a big dude.
Yeah. I more power to ya.
Oh, I love it. I love it. But I mean, you make valid points though, right? And one of the stories that you've told, I hope, knock on wood, that this is your story. But you didn't have the biggest support from your husband originally until you bought a tire. Was that him? Was that you?
No, actually, my husband pushed me to join
paparazzi. So I do have
but he wasn't always on board. Like, he knew that I could do this, but he, like, me being on my phone all the time isn't like his favorite. I put a lot of effort and time into my team and my business. So sometimes he's like, dude, like, so there's moments where he still kind of struggles with the, with my business. So he is supportive, but he has moments where it's like, okay, come on, like, put your phone down and let's do stuff. So he goes through moments. And then there's times where he's like, listen, like, this isn't, and I mean, recently I've taken a dip. I'm not going to say that we are, I'm not selling jewelry. I am, but I'm not where I was last year, and so we've had the conversation of like, hey, like, either you got to make this work or you got to go back to work. Like, we're not, there's moments of that, but it only makes me push harder because I'm like, dang, if I'm going to go back to a 9 to 5, like, this has to work. So it just means.
Well, and I mean, and you're at a completely different level than you were back then too, right? So, you have more bills than you did then that you were comfortably paying. So, you're living in a different, I want to say like bracket or nothing like that, but you are living at a different level. You are having more comforts and things like that. But there is an elite that their story stood out to me. And for some reason, I think it's because I watched that elite training that you had done, and your husband came on there and was talking about what was going on. But there is an elite though that their story was that their husband didn't support them until they were able to buy their husband tires for their truck, and that changed it. And I don't remember who that was, but just to clarify to everybody else that that this isn't uncommon for an elite to have those stories. That this business has changed them and helped them in one way or another in the ways that they share it.
I mean, it could have been Steven's live that he did in Patty's group where he was talking about the spouse is being supportive. I could have bought him tires. That means more to him than me though, because I can't even remember.
Right. Yeah, it may. I don't recall, but I could have swore it had something to do with him. But maybe that's a conversation for you and him later that'll spark up a memory. But anyway, we are at the top of the hour. And I don't like to take this more than an hour because your time is valuable and I want them to go to work. So I appreciate everything that you've shared here with us today. I appreciate you putting yourself out there to us. I want to give Marissa and Sarah an opportunity to say any last things to you real quick, since nobody raised their hands and they were kind of like sitting on them right now while they were listening. But as long as you're listening, that's what's important. So, babe, Marissa, you guys have anything you want to add before we go?
No, I just say thank you though for taking the time. I always love when you come in here. Feel like we always get some good stuff. So I appreciate you taking the time for us.
Of course, you guys are very special to me, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be here. You guys have to try the double device live thing and tell me how that goes.
Yeah, I'm honestly like Chris keeps pushing me to do on the business page, and I don't know why, but I'm so scared.
It's scary. It's scary, and it takes time.
I'm gonna switch, and then I'm like, no, I can't. Okay, tomorrow I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go on the business page, and I don't know why. I feel like it opens me up to a different audience, but I'm comfortable with my audience, and so I know that I have to keep pushing myself, and I have to keep stepping outside that box. But it's like I don't know why it scares me to like open myself up to a different audience. Like,
well, maybe going live from both at the same time is kind of like a little crutch. Like you're live, you're still live on your profile, but then you also are over there. So
right,
just an idea.
Yeah,
I know I can do it. I'm just
do it scared, Sarah. Do it scared.
For real.
Marissa, did you have anything to add? And also, real quick, Liz, I just want to let you know that we have a couple guests in here. I believe he just stepped out, but Derek is in here and Desiree are in here as guests. They are considering joining us, so I've given them kind of a guest pass to come and join us and listen in.
Very cool. Well, hi, Desiree.
So Marissa, did you have anything you wanted to end off with, or should we just go ahead and wrap this up? She might be busy.
Yeah, she's probably getting ready to go live.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, Liz. I thank you again so much. We're going to end in a prayer. Would you like to say it for us, or would you like
Absolutely, me to? I would love to.
Please.
All right. All right, dear Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you for all of the blessings that you give us day in and day out, for the opportunity to have a business, to have a roof over our heads that many people in this world do not have. Thank you for crossing our paths, for the blessing of coming together and to honor you as we start this and honor you as we end this, because we have faith in you, Lord, that the abundances that we are going to have, only you can provide. We ask that you keep us healthy and you keep us all motivated to do your work always, Lord, that we take you in our heart with everything that we do, because we understand that we are your vessel and what we do is for you and through you, Lord. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Liz. I'm going to go ahead and end the live. Thank you guys for joining us in Elite Blingers, and we'll see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time.